So guys, today we're going to start with, we're going to continue with the reproduction, and we're going to do the second part of this last life function inside the animals. So let's go to the fertilization, okay? Now the fertilization is the process in which male gametes and female gametes join together. In this case, the ovum and the sperm are going to join together and they're going to form the zygote, okay, which will then develop into the embryo and etc. Now, the fertilization can be two different ways, okay. The first one would be the external fertilization. External fertilization can only happen in water, so only aquatic animals or animals that live very close to the water can do it. So the ones that are going to do it are going to be fishes, some insects, and some terrestrial animals like the amphibians. Okay, so in this case, the female lays the eggs, and the male then is just going to spread the sperm on top. Then we're going to have the internal fertilization. In this case, the male has to introduce to the female the sperm, okay? So this is going to involve the copulation, okay? In some cases, there is a copulating organ, but it's not compulsory, okay? Right, then once we've got the egg fertilized, what we have is a zygote. And the zygote will start to develop into forming a fetus or an embryo, okay? When this ends up by developing, we will have a baby. Okay, now this embryonic development can take place in different ways. Can happen inside an egg, okay? That would be the case of the oviparous. It can take place inside the womb of the mother. That's just what we call a viviparous. Or it can happen with both processes, egg and inside the mother. That is what we call an ovoviviparous. Okay, we're going to start with our case, the viviparous. Now, the embryo is going to develop inside the female's body, okay, inside the uterus, and it's typical of the mammals, but not all the mammals do it, okay? That's why when we saw the mammals, I never said the word viviparous, because some of them, like the monotremes, are going to lay eggs, okay? Now, the oviparous are going to develop this structure that's called the egg, okay? And inside the egg, we're going to have first an eggshell, which is going to protect the embryo. We're going to have the embryo, and then we're going to have the yolk, the albumen, air cell, okay? All this are nutrients for the baby to develop, okay? Typical from birds, reptiles, fish, and monotremes. And then we have the ovoviviparous, okay? These are eggs, okay, that will hatch inside the mum's womb. Whoops. Okay, this happens in the sharks, okay, some lizards and some insects. Right. After the embryo is born, okay, what we have is the post-embryonic development. This can be direct or indirect. Now, the direct development is when the offspring is very similar to the adult. Okay, it's very, you can see perfectly a baby, how it's going to form into an adult. Okay, the same happens with our species. But this isn't always the case. There are some species that have indirect development. Okay, now this indirect development usually causes because we've got a larva that is going to suffer a metamorphosis into an adult. Now this can be simple, all right, where the larva is very similar to the adult, okay, but it's different in the sense that it's going to have different structures, okay. This happens, for example, in the grasshopper, okay, or the complex. And the complex, the larva is completely different to the adult. And there's an intermediate stage that's called pupa. Okay, so the larva is going to eat, it's going to grow, and then it will develop a pupa and it will hatch into an adult, which will be in charge of doing the sexual reproduction. Right, so with this we finish the reproduction and the units of the animals, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I can see you soon.